Hey, good morning, guys. Just wanted to spend 5 minutes on something that a friend of mine, Jessica, inspired this 5 minute talk because of something that she wrote. Basically, the thought I wanted to convey is, we all are all part of this world. All part of a team. We've all heard the saying, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So we always have to try to improve that weak link. The stronger that weakest link is, the stronger the team will be. Therefore, I think constant improvement of oneself, if you can improve yourself just 1% a day, you'd be a different person, in several months. In a year, you'd definitely be in a much better place. But anyway, I wanted to share a story that I read in a book by Rick Pitino. He was going to get the job, I believe it's in Providence. And he was told by many different coaches, friends of his, that, that's the place to go die. You don't want to go there. You're not going to win there. So, nonetheless, he had a great amount of belief in his skills and his talents to motivate and to recruit. And so he went ahead and went there anyway. So he gets there to meet the team, calls a team meeting. Everybody's there. He takes out a chalkboard, and on the chalkboard he writes the 4 pillars, 4 different things that should be important. The first one was basketball. This is the basketball team, so I hope basketball is important to you, And so he wrote basketball. The second one was grades, school. The third one was work ethic, and the fourth one was family. So he asked the team, how many of y'all want to make it to the pros? Half the team raised their hand. So he says, have you thought about it long and hard? And they answered yes. He says, I'm looking at your stats. Nobody scored above 11 points a game. Nobody averaged more than 11 points. 10.2, 10.6 was the highest. How can you be a pro when you can't even dominate in the college level? So he gets the eraser and he goes and he erases basketball. Because if you cannot if you can't dominate and do very well at the college level, what makes you think you'll be able to do it at the next level? So apparently, these guys hadn't thought about it long and hard to think that they had the talent to make it at the next level. So he goes on to number 2, school. So he says, are grades important to you guys? And one of the guys says, of course it is, because we're not going to make it. All of us aren't going to make it to the pros. So we need to have an education. He says, I'm looking at your GPA. It ain't that hot. I hope you haven't reached your potential, because by looking at your GPA, it's not very good. And I'd like to think that you're better than this. So you know what? I think you're lying to me. I don't think you're accurately assessing the situation, because your GPA is not very good. So he gets the eraser and he erases number 2 off. All of a sudden, the players will start looking at each other like, shit, what's going on here? He's cutting us down pretty darn quick. So he goes to number 3 and he says, work ethic. How strong is the work ethic here? At that time, the janitor's walking by and he says, hey, Mr. Johnson, can you come in here for a second, please? And he said, Mr. Johnson, you know these guys? And he says, I believe they're the basketball team, sir. I said, you're right. He says, how many times have you seen any of these guys here at 6 o'clock in the morning shooting baskets? The janitor started laughing. He's like, not too many, coach. And he says, well, 6 is kind of early. How about 6:30? He says, no. How about 7 o'clock? He says, no. At this point, the players are starting to realize, he got us again. At any time, do you see them in the gym outside of when they are supposed to be in the gym? Janitor says, no, actually, they never come. So Rick Pitino's looking at the players, looking them straight in the eye. And I can only imagine players wanting to hide under the biggest rock they could find. Turns around, gets the eraser, and erases number 3. Work ethic. Because apparently, the work ethic they think they have, they do not. So they're down to the last one, family. He says, okay, so we did not assess the basketball portion correct, nor the school portion correct, nor the work ethic correct, but at least we can be a family, right? I mean, at least. That's a great starting point, right? And the guys are, yeah, coach, we've been together, a couple of us 2 years together, whatever, and we're a family. We're tight. Okay. He says, hey, Billy, how many brothers and sisters does, Johnny have? And he looks across the room at him and he says, well, I'm not sure, coach. He says, hey, Martin, how many brothers and sisters does Jonathan have? What does Jonathan's parents do for a living? No, I don't know, coach. And he goes on asking different questions. Where are they from? What's their background? They couldn't answer. At that point, he reaches for the eraser once again and erases the final word on the chalkboard, family. And he says, guys, I've been here 15 minutes and I already know a big percentages of the problems that we have here. And it's going to change. He said, we're going to change that starting right now. So he had each player stand up and say who they were, talk about their parents, their brother, family members, how many family members they had, where they came from, and as much as they could possibly discuss in 15 minutes as the beginning of a new process. Go. Freaking guy just cut me off here. So he's laying the foundation for a new beginning. Long story short, 2 years later, they're in the Final Four. A place where the coach was told it's a place to go die. It's a place to go end your career. Not to rejuvenate it and not to build from there. And yet, Rick Pitino had enough faith in himself and courage to take the job, determined to make this work, and he did. And for those of you that don't know, Rick Pitino has moved on to coach in different places with great success. Top of my head, Kentucky and Louisville. He actually had a stint in the pros too. The point being that, we need to make a better team. We need to get to know each other better, ask, be interested in somebody else. In the Bible it says, I don't know the verse or what have you exactly, but I know something to that effect of, anybody can love those that love you. It's the ones that don't love you and the ones that don't deserve to be loved. That's the catch. Can you love those? Can you extend your hand out to those that don't have, that are less fortunate than you? Again, the point is trying to build a better team. And I know during the Christmas holidays when we're over here getting excited about Christmas or what have you, I remember reading somewhere or heard somewhere about the Jewish holiday that before they can go to God and ask for forgiveness and what have you, that they need to go to their fellow man. And if anybody out there is a Jew listening and can clarify that for me, I'd appreciate that too. But, before you can go to God, you got to go to your fellow man. I thought that is so cool. So cool that you got to go to your fellow man and make things right with your brothers and sisters first before you go to God. And a lot of times we go to church and what have you, and God this, God that, and I pray. I got a lot of Jesus freaks, and I'm sorry if that offends some of you guys, but I don't mean to. But they're fanatics, and I think that too can be wrong, in the sense that I don't need you to tell me that that you believe in Jesus or what have you. The way you act should speak loud and clearly for you. But on one side it's Jesus this, Jesus that, Jesus this, and And on the other side, on the flip side of it, you're criticizing and hating other people that don't agree with your views. I don't know, man. If God gave us the free will, by gosh, you should too. If God gave them the free will to say, to speak, to do whatever they wanted to, why should I have a problem with it? Now, I do not believe in certain things because I think that God would want us to act a certain way. And when they do those things that we shouldn't do, if God gave them the free will, by gosh, I've got to let them do what they want to do and respect their wishes, and then know that at the end of time, at the end of the day, they're going to have to answer to their creator, not to me. So why should I get all up in arms over that? My job is to try to build a better world, a better community, better school, better work environment, So, I'll leave you with this thought. Try to improve every day, 1% every day. Try to reach out to somebody. Know your coworkers. Hey, know their parents. Know their family members. Know where they came from. Know what some of their hobbies are. For example, on this post here, I'll ask any of y'all know what some of my hobbies are. Let's see how well you guys know me. Some of you guys, friends of mine, like QB, you should know. But some of these other people, get to know people. Don't be afraid to go out on a limb, do for others. And let's make this world a better place, slowly but surely. Make it a better place because Lord knows we need it. Instead of all this fighting and, pro guns or pro this, pro that. Hey, we have different views, but let's trust that we're doing the best for everybody involved and respect each other's wishes, and let's move forward. Let's have intelligent conversations, but don't be afraid to put yourself on the limb. And and the Bible also says, there by the grace of God go I. We don't know the struggle somebody else is facing, so let's be supportive and lend a helping hand, sympathetic ear, and let's make this world a better place. So with that, thank you. Have a great day. I know I will. I'm off to do a nice little job. And like the Toto song says, I'm still all Toto-fied. Like the Toto song says, I'm holding all the cards and a joker too. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.